Raphael Bloch has lived on 3 continents and now resides happily in Northern California. A longtime meditator, he breathes in wonder at Earth's and our own rhythmic ebb and flow. Raphael is the author of 5 books of poetry, including At This Table and The Dreams We Share, and produces a monthly Earth Love newsletter. To learn more about Raphael, please visit his website, raphaelbloch.com, where you can download 2 free audiobooks and watch a National Geographic selected 5-minute documentary. Please welcome Raphael Bloch.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. And I'm going to share a few poems from my book, The Dreams We Share. As Sandy said, this is my 5th collection. There are 86 poems in it, edited by Terry Errett. And instead of doing 20 minutes, I'm going to do 15 because I want to hear your responses, comments, or even any questions you might have. So it's more of a conversation. I'll start with a poem called This Finely Woven Tapestry. The serpentine meadow has woken from winter slumber into a technicolor dream of cream cups, purple petal cluster lilies, golden poppies, spinster blue-eyed Marys. A white flash slithers through her grasses. Bluebellies scuttle under rocks. Great coppers, umber skippers, anise swallowtails and bees have found their haven. Let me to awaken. Let me to awaken into such a full-bodied vision. This next one is called A Fly, and perhaps this has happened to you. One summer door ajar, you follow the scents into the shade of a house. Trapped. I hear your drone and a light thwack against the glass. I see your large red eyes, your bottle green body on the window pane, prying and seeking. If only I would deftly catch you and free you, but you don't settle for long. Would it be kinder to clap my hands and squash you if I could? In a short while, you will lie still on the wooden sill, dry and ready for composting. I travel briefly too in this house of glass. I travel briefly too in this house of glass. Roots. Sunlight cascading over the turning Japanese maple. A fervor of coppery golds hooks me to the spot. I meet people who emit such beauty that I stand agape, forgetting my own buried roots, coiled, waiting to shoot flowers shine, and when winter's purse lips call, shed all. Return again, return again. My soul's land is a field that life tills and tends. Perhaps rocks need to be broken, or dips and holes need to be filled. Perhaps sand or humus or seaweed need to be added before it can yield something lovely like a potato, maize, or a flower. And like a field, it longs to be sung to as I water, compost, cover crop, and putter. For what am I born for if not to praise? And the earth will praise us too, even as she takes us into her arms. We are so intimate, why act as strangers? Like an open hand, our secrets are all known. How much of each day can I drop my false faces to stand naked before you? How much of each day can I drop my false faces to stand naked before you? I count on you to raise me up when, like a child learning to walk, I fall again and again and again. Now I sing to you, I sing to you. Be alive in me. A little more, a little more. Angel Unawares, an English country dance. A spray of sparrow whirs out of coyote brush, young laughter and yells spin around red-berried cottony aster. Blackberry leaves and hedge the road and power poles. A fresh redwood stands sentry, its bark so orange bright. A motor revs, whines and dies like the sun paling through the dappled cloud. I'm dancing with a hazel tree, a gold leaf, oak and bay, all swaying on a hill. Bird song, a dog's yip, something or someone is listening in. Bird song, a dog's yip, something or someone is listening in. Light vessels take to water. I'm ravaged by the sunset boats burning beside each other, moored next to cerulean and soft edge pink. As this light sails in me, then it must in you. Pines and redwoods blacken the sky. The fiery vessels flame. Pink melts while cars below race where. A bird begins to chirp. Who will be home first? A crescendo of reds. The boats slowly slide down the ramp of the hill into the sea. Homegrown. I'm giving up joining the seminar of spiritual seekers, the Zoom of fresh healers to peel a garden onion, planted by younger hands, keener eyes, with real enthusiasm for the chard, beans, basil, and all the herbs and vegetables filling their 3 beds. My given task to take off those outer skins, revel in the fog flooding the hills, the bowing trees, as I dice a white potato, slice bright orange carrots, green sugar snaps, yellow squash to add to the mix, and listen to the music of the simmering pot. Yes, a good hour has passed, and I feel filled, satisfied before the meal by the pounding of summer savory, sounds of sprinkled salt and pepper grinding, deep aroma and colour of turmeric, and the silences between the branches. Thank you, we're now much more aware than we ever have been that we all carry trauma of a variety of kinds. This one is called We the Healers. I want to be like that couple on top of the hill, stealing a kiss in the wind and rain. Maybe you had a happy childhood. Maybe you watched your parents dance and didn't see them crush each other. Maybe their words didn't lacerate and you inherited only your ancestors' wounds. The roast delicious. Not bad. A little dry. Not as good as last time. My family didn't talk about what mattered most. Did yours? We're the walking wounded who light a stranger's face when we see another wounded walking. Is it foolish to want to rise into clouds? Is it weak to fall like rain? Thank you. Her unbroken giving. 1. It will happen unplanned, like the gopher burrow rushing down the hillside from its appointed channels to a flat patch where pools now gather, sit, trickle through layers of sands, sandstone, and silt to the aquifer that feeds the well. 2. When I was a child and someone hurt me, my petals closed, my shell snapped shut. I burrowed underground. And what do I believe will coax this wounded earth to show me her face in all weathers? And what do I believe will coax our wounded earth to show me her face in all weathers? The last poem in the book is called In the Land. There's a peace in the land, a peace in the land. Morning fog and cloud dome the sky. Across the view fly a pair of Eurasian collared doves. In Glastonbury or Machu Picchu, Mecca or Uluru's rock, you'll find resonating in you a deep peace in the land. Cars pace the highway, scrub jays peck ripening apples. When in the temples of Kyoto or shrines of Srinagar or your own backyard, each time you open, each time you open, there is peace in the land. Thank you very much indeed. of course, I have plenty of poems, but I'd like instead to hear you. So if you could unmute yourselves and wave a hand if you have anything, a response you'd like to share, do be brave. Over to you now. Oh, yes, I see Carol.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved hearing you sing. That was very surprising, and it really added a lot to the experience. And the images are so sharp and clear, and I love the way you take observations in the natural world, but yes, draw meaning from them and make that clear. That's something I need to work on with my poems. That I have a meaning, but the reader doesn't necessarily get it. So it was lovely.
Thank you so much. It's very kind of you, Carol.
And I also noticed your technique of repeating lines, and I think that's especially important with when we don't have something in front of us. We can read it again, but that worked well for me, repeating certain lines that were key.
Oh, good. David White was kind of famous for introducing that some years back. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy?
Yes, hi. You said David White. Is he someone that you've been influenced by? But before you answer, I just want to say I just felt such reverence in your work. The words haunting with the music, but reverence, just a deep reverence. It was very moving. Thank you.
Thank you. That makes me very happy to hear that, because that's the intention behind the work, to serve the earth in some way in this time of great need. Oh, if you want an answer to that, Mary Oliver is my favorite poet, but David White has certainly been an influence. Yeah.
I will just say I found it so interesting, the alternating sung word and spoken, and it put me in different physical spaces, which is an ad in the poem. It's very interesting to just receive that. The singing, I felt more like I was in an interior sacred space, and the spoken language felt more somehow outdoors, engaged with the outdoors more. So mysterious and interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. I want to pay a little tribute to Abby here, who I heard sing her poem a few months ago, the beginning and maybe the end too. And that inspired me. I mean, I've worked with music for a long time, but Abby's rendition did inspire me.
Thank you.
Sandy.
Thank you.
Raphael, I
Yeah.
just wanted to say how much I enjoyed the specificity of your images, the fruits, the berries, the trees. I love the naming, and the birds, that dove, which I hadn't heard of. So that to me just sharpens up, kind of similar to what Carol said, really sharpens up the focus and the visual enjoyment of the poem for me through your words.
Thank you.
Very beautiful reading. Thank you.
Hi, Raphael.
Hi,
Judy here. This one image keeps sticking in my mind, or a phrase that you had, what am I born for if not to pray? And I think I said that right, but your poetry did put me in a very kind of meditative state as I listened to it. Closed my eyes and listened to it. Very, very beautiful feeling for me. Mm-hmm. And I also wondered how you designated the singing in your book, if you have notes or whether you just write it and we have to hear the oral to hear the singing.
Yeah, I will in due course record the book. I'm not sure whether I'll be singing or not yet, but I will record it. I want to make another of my books. I have 3 audio books on site available as free downloads, because it's important to share both, orally and especially in person if possible, and also on the page. So thank you, Judy.
I find that your singing gave a spirituality to the poetry, and it almost to me sounded cantorial. So I wonder how much spirit do you see in your poems? I know poetry comes from inside us, so it's spiritual in its nature almost. But yours seem to be with the singing, and even your voice mimics your singing, your tonations, and I wonder how you feel about it.
Thank you, Milton. That's very observant of you. For me, meditation is a central part of my life. I know it isn't for everyone, but that's important, just the way I'm made. And so my longing expresses itself through poetry and music and other ways. I guess that's what you're picking up on. That's what you're hearing.
All right, let's have a round of applause for Raphael, and thank you for all the questions.
Bravo.